Let's talk about getting to Italy and all the lessons I learned. Being off peak season, I was actually able to get a pretty good deal at a flight price for $550. This is a direct flight from JFK to Leonardo da Vinci Airport, or Fiumicino. After getting a great friend to drop me off at JFK, you have to first just deal with JFK. I was a little worried because the ITA app, ITA, told me I had to check in at the counter. I couldn't check in on the app like I usually do with all my other flights. It was my first time going to Italy and using the ITA app, so I didn't really know what was going on. But when I arrived, I realized that I wasn't the only one. Looks like there's an entire line of people waiting to check in. So thankfully I came an extra hour early. So lesson number 1, prepare to get there even extra earlier than usual in case you have to be in line to check in at the counter even if you have the app. I also learned that despite having TSA pre-checked, it didn't really seem to really matter at JFK. I was able to get ahead of the regular line as far as like waiting for the security check-in, but then I still got funneled into a line where I needed to take off my shoes, all my camera equipment, and all my bathroom stuff and liquids, and I was like, what is this? They're like, even if you have TSA pre-check, and he said, yeah. So it's funny because I met a girl on the plane who didn't have TSA pre-checked that got funneled into a line that you didn't need to take anything out. It unfortunately followed what my friend told me, that it didn't really matter at JFK. So, good thing to know. So lesson number 2, at JFK, even if you have TSA pre-checked, you might have to take out all your stuff anyway. I didn't pay to pick a seat, so I ended up getting an aisle seat next to the bathrooms and no seats in front of me. Now that's new for me because I was so used to putting my stuff underneath the seat in front of me, and then it ended up that I had to put my stuff on the overhead compartment, and then I couldn't access it very easily, and so I started like nesting my stuff around my seat. It got like, kind of wasn't as comfy as I thought it'd be. So I don't think I would do that again, because while it gave me extra leg room, a lot of people would be in line for the bathroom and they'd stumble and they'd step on my toes. So it wasn't quite a pleasant experience. Just a personal preference. Italian and English were spoken. The flight attendants were great. Tried to speak the few words I knew at the time, and I was like, grazie. And then the woman talked back to me in Italian. My face is definitely deer in the headlights. That's when she realized. She switched over to English, and I was like, oh, okay. That is something I'd be pretty familiar with in my 3 weeks in Italy. They asked if I wanted pasta or meat, which is interesting, which made me quickly realize that, yeah, in Italy, they're usually separated. You eat pasta first, and then you eat a meat course after, so they're usually not together. So I chose meat, gotta get my proteins. So we got some beef and potatoes and some green beans, and some ham over green beans, and bread and butter and pudding for dessert. Maybe it's supposed to be a little tiramisu, I think, now that I realize it. All pretty good. And later got marble loaf cake, and I definitely got my cups of red wine, which is included in an international flight typically. Flight was fine overall. Flying direct definitely made it much more easy and convenient, and so much less stress about trying to make connections and yada yada, among all the other things I had to worry about. And then I made it! Hooray! Yes, I got there pretty early, 6:30 Monday morning. The airport was pretty empty. I could already see the signs in Italian and English that would help me direct me to get my luggage. I was trying to be super minimalist, and I didn't bring a checked-in bag, but apparently my carry-on was much heavier than you're supposed to have for a carry-on, which honestly my carry-on has ever gotten weighed before, so they ended up checking it in. The airport seems super nice and spacious. There's a working station, there's even a piano that people can play on, and you know, I resisted the urge to play terrible chopsticks, 6 o'clock in the morning. My water bottle ended up being empty, and I was looking for a refillable water bottle station, as I typically see in the States, and I couldn't find one anywhere, like not even near the bathroom. You know, when it's like usually in the middle between like the men's and the women's bathroom or whatever, and then it just wasn't there. But later I found out that there are actually refillable water stations, and they're actually in the bathrooms. So lesson number 3, don't typically look for the typical water bottle filling stations and like you see in the States. It's actually gonna be in the bathroom, and you're gonna be looking near the sink where it says drinking water. Sandwiches, seeing little things in euros for the first time. In Italy, it's pretty easy to follow the baggage claim signs. I had heard that this airport could be pretty involved with high-end shopping, and that definitely rang true. I saw a lot of signs for Gucci, Hermes, Diesel, Dolce & Gabbana. So I mean, if that's your thing, I mean, you can, right away get into like that kind of lifestyle in Italy. You'll eventually get to this point where it's border control, where they check your passport and stuff. Now, there's actually an expedited lines for partner countries, I guess. Being from the US, I was actually able to get through pretty easily. And honestly, I've never had an easier time. They really just saw my US passport for like a second, the dude was just like, prego. And then it was like, no questions asked. They're like, boom, in and out. So lesson number 4, being an American, you can get through border control expeditedly and pretty low stress. I'd say they do a pretty good job in this airport to really get you excited to visit Italy. And I was looking forward to seeing some sculptured fountains in person, so very cool. I love how easy they make it as far as you just follow the line and on the floor as far as where you need to go. So I was looking for the train, so I was looking for the train line and I just followed the signs. I saw Vodafone right away, which is what I saw in the airport in Lisbon when I went to Portugal. But I held off on getting a SIM card this time because I did some more research and I'd heard that you can get a better deal and better coverage somewhere else. I'm just gonna take the $15 hit from Verizon to just use international service first time there. And of course there's cafes available and it was like hustling and bustling. Everybody's getting their coffee in the morning. All right, so watching this video, I realized that I definitely didn't follow the lines to get to the train. I kind of circled around a bit and eventually found my way going down to the elevators. I can get pretty directionally challenged sometimes. Okay, a lot of times, okay? If I can figure this out, you can figure it out too. I thought it was pretty cool that they have a pharmacy in the airport, and this would be a symbol that I would see quite often. It'd be a green cross, and that represents the pharmacy. And Italy, which I've never had, but I heard a lot of good things about. Apparently there's a sign for a shower. I don't know how accessible that is, but it's pretty cool. They play the news on the TV as you walk through, as well as the weather, which reminded me that I needed to get used to centigrade again. And then boom, there you are, train station at the airport. It would get you to your next destination, or for me, just trying to get to my Airbnb. These red machines you'll see are the ticket machines. Cafe right next door, times overhead, police actually right there too. Newspapers and tobacco. Yep, smoking is still a regular thing over here in Europe, it seems. Wi-Fi was pretty easily available and connectable. So here's where I messed up.